On our Republic Day, as India comes together in all its beauty, diversity and strength to celebrate with pride, joy and reverence. Come, join us for the live telecast as the tricolour flutters in our hearts, homes and hopes on the 26th of January, only on Doordarshan.
Get in-depth analysis of the important news of the day. Spotlight on day's newsmakers. Expert comments to dissect the news. Get the finer points of the matter. Watch Dateline 5 p.m. on weekdays on DD India.
You will meet two startup champions from the drinking water and energy space.
At the core of it is a device that captures it.
Welcome to 7:30 in the evening in India, and we are back again with a spotlight on G20. It was the third and final day of the G20 Health Working Group meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. Over 3 days, deliberations in Kerala focused on the three main priorities identified by India under the health track: pandemic prevention, preparedness and response, ensuring access and availability to safe, effective, quality and affordable vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics, and on digital health innovations and solutions that can aid universal health coverage and improve healthcare service delivery, besides a side event that focused on medical value travel. On India at G20 today, we look at the outcomes of the three-day meeting and whether the meeting has started the process of achieving the goal of a robust and fairer global health architecture. I'm Munun Bhattacharya. First up, the top stories. On the third and final day of G20 Health Working Group meeting in Thiruvananthapuram, panel discussions take place on achieving holistic well-being through integrated health care, building resilient and sustainable medical value travel and strengthening such travel through partnerships. Ayush Secretary Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha terms medical value travel as an essential component for idealistic healthcare for addressing vulnerabilities and disparities of healthcare systems, calls for multilateral collaborations to strengthen knowledge sharing for accessible, affordable and quality healthcare. Member Health of Niti Aayog Dr. Vinod Paul underlines the need for a resilient and sustainable framework for medical value travel that can provide access to quality and cost-effective medical care, transparent pricing, seamless travel to medical value travel destinations, attainment of universal health coverage, and ensuring low waiting time for medical treatment. G20 delegates visit Somathiram Ayurved village at Kovalam in Kerala, experience traditional Ayurvedic therapies, wellness and yoga practices. first G20 Health Working Group meeting concluded in Thiruvananthapuram today. Here's a snapshot of the highlights of the 3 days.
Day 1 of the G20 Health Working Group meeting started with inaugural addresses by Union Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar, and Union Minister of State for External Affairs, S.V. Muralidharan. Dr. Pawar called for making pandemic policy a defining part of health policy, as any health crisis today leads to an economic crisis due to the multi-sectoral nature of our interconnected world.
COVID-19 pandemic will not be the last one. Our agenda must be to respond together each time the threats emerge. We must align ourselves with emerging scientific evidence and diversify our capacities and capabilities and strengthen our early warning systems. In an increasingly interconnected world, we need to ensure that our communities are resilient and have equal opportunities to protect themselves in the face of crisis.
Union Minister Muralidharan introduced the G20 delegates to the power of wellness and healing of Ayurveda.
You are in a land where Ayurveda originated and practiced in its purest form extensively. Your visit cannot be complete if you have not encountered or experienced Ayurveda. Literally, Ayurveda translates to science of life. The practice of Ayurveda includes use of herbal medicines, massage therapy, and dietary changes to maintain or restore perfect balance in the body. I am confident that after you explore, you will understand why this state of Kerala is named God's own country.
Highlighting India's aim as the chair of G20 to achieve convergence in discussions across various multilateral fora on health cooperation. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan outlined the 3 priorities for the G20 health track.
India has chosen 3 priorities effectively in continuation of the discussions during the previous presidencies. These priorities are health emergencies prevention, preparedness and response with focus on One Health and AMR, strengthening cooperation in pharmaceutical sector with focus on availability and access to safe, effective, quality and affordable medical countermeasures, and digital health innovations and solutions in aid of universal health coverage.
The Day 2 of G20 delegates in Thiruvananthapuram started with a relaxing yoga session by the scenic Kovalam beach. Yoga is a 5,000-year-old tradition from India and is recognized globally as a physical, mental and spiritual practice that brings harmony to mind, body and soul. Under India's G20 presidency, a key focus area is promoting holistic health, of which yoga is an integral part.
I enjoyed it very much, even I'm not so flexible, so it was relaxing but also demanding.
I really enjoyed the experience of yoga. I haven't done it for a long time.
It was such a relaxing way to start the morning. Beautiful and just really well paced.
Day 2 saw deliberations on how digital health innovations and solutions can aid universal health coverage and improve healthcare service delivery.
All the world, all the globe should learn from it and put their strategies in order to avoid such thing and in order to implement manufacturing of vaccines and putting strategies in the digital in order to avoid or to prepare ourselves for any, God forbid, incidents in the future.
A side event on medical value travel was inaugurated by Union Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar.
Our culture of traditional medicines like Ayurveda and Unani, this caters to an important content of preventive and promotive aspect of healthcare besides curative health services. India envisions to accelerate the efforts towards health system transformation, increasing the pace of implementation of value-based healthcare and achieving the goal of universal health coverage across the world.
On the third and final day, there were panel discussions on achieving holistic well-being through integrated healthcare, building resilient and sustainable medical value travel, and strengthening on the same through partnerships. The side event on medical value travel highlighted how integrated healthcare can achieve universal health coverage through value-based healthcare. Ayush Secretary Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha spoke on the importance of medical value travel in the present times.
Countries like Indonesia has a wonderful wellness tourism and medical value travel. In India, it is a very strong institutionalized presence is there. Interestingly, a doctor, neurologist from Germany came in and she showcased the experience of her hospital, a big neurology hospital, treating Parkinson disorders through integrative care of allopathy, Ayurveda, yoga and diet and all together, and then treating the patients very well. Even WHO has also complimented India under this G20 presidency to organize such wonderful session and medical travel event, specifically talking about traditional and integrative care.
Interventions by panelists delved into promotive and preventive measures of traditional health services. It was unanimously agreed that the combination of modern medicine with traditional healing methods is exponentially powerful in not just treating the disease but holistically healing the body.
My Parkinson's experience with this holistic approach using Western medicine and Ayurvedic medicine is very, very good. As I pointed out already, we have a better improvement of symptoms, we have a better sustainability, we have better quality of life for our patients, and we have patients as active pillars in their therapy. And I think it's very different from the only conventional therapy.
In the evening, G20 delegates visited Somathiram Ayurveda village at Kovalam in Kerala, where they experienced the traditional Ayurvedic therapies, wellness packages and yoga practices. As G20 president, India aims to join hands with other G20 member states towards creating a robust and fairer global health architecture, and the first G20 Health Working Group meeting started the journey towards achieving that goal. With inputs from Aisha Khanam and Nitendra Singh from Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, DD India.
And joining us now is Aisha Khanam, a correspondent who's been tracking the 3 days of developments of the G20 Health Working Group meeting, which is now drawn to a close in Thiruvananthapuram. Aisha, what to your mind were the big outcomes of the 3-day meeting? Because we know that at the starting there was focus on 3 health priorities. One was to ensure that there is access to affordable pharmaceutical interventions like vaccines, etc. And there were 2 other focus areas on digital health solutions. There was focus. So tell us about what were the main outcomes to your mind.
Well, Mundan, the meeting rightly analyzed how to handle emergencies like pandemic, and also the theme, the focus of the meeting itself on the first day was on handling emergencies, prevention and also the response. Now, prevention is important aspect that the delegates have looked upon. They know that pandemic COVID-19 is not the last one, so they want to be prepared for any kind of further such epidemics, and also response system in any country should be robust and it should be able to handle and save lives. So this was the focus area on the first day. And besides this, the strengthening of the pharmaceutical sector was an important aspect that was discussed during this meeting, and many countries agreed upon the fact that India is playing a lead role in bringing together the countries by supplying required medicines, to some countries, because during the pandemic, India exhibited leadership in holding hands of the countries where they were in need of vaccine. So the vaccine Maitri has been the top of this entire summit, every delegate stressed upon that and acknowledged India's role in this sector. And also the digital innovation, the digital healthcare system is another aspect that that was deliberated upon, and all the G20 countries talked about how technology should be utilized to its full to apply it to all the healthcare sectors across all the countries. So these three were the first main focus area that were discussed upon, and also the fact that the side event was very important. The medical value tourism today was an important aspect, because the holistic approach to treatment is another important area where India is already in a lead role, and many countries are taking example, and they have been acknowledging India's leadership in medical value tourism, because India is one among the top 10 countries where medical value tourism has been on the topmost agenda. So countries like Oman, Maldives, Mauritius, these are the countries who and especially Saudi Arabia, who are visiting India for treatments, not just allopathy but also alternate medicines. And with the travel, they also bring their culture to our country, and our culture is exchanged, with them. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already given a slogan of Heal in India, and this Heal in India slogan has caught on to several other countries where they believe that India has an alternative and indigenous system of treatment available in the country. So many countries were discussing the similar aspects that they have in their own country, but they want to learn and they want to follow and emulate India's example in implementing the alternate and holistic medicine approach. So medical value travel was an important aspect, and right now the delegates have just left the Somatiram Ayurveda village. This is world's first Ayurveda village, wherein all the delegates were shown the Ayurvedic treatments, the alternate therapies for treatments, and many delegates really expressed surprise over the fact that disease like cancer is also being treated using Ayurveda, and this was well appreciated by the delegates. And on the other hand, India exhibited its flagship schemes like Jan Aushadhi Kendra. Many delegates said that Jan Aushadhi Kendra, where the generic medicines are available at half the price and affordable prices for the common man, is an example how health systems should be built in every country, wherein the common man has accessibility, affordability, and availability anytime. So these were the four areas of the meeting during these 3 days. Besides, those of Kerala's culture, its authentic cuisine, all these things have put together, and the delegates are signing off tonight from Kerala, promising to firm up this agenda and taking it further and escalating this at the Goa second health working group by G20 under India's presidency. Munmun?
Right. Asha was coming to that there will be all in all 3 health working group meetings. One has gotten over. Now preparations begun for the next one. So what can we expect between now and then?
Well, the delegates hope to take further these meetings to the next level, how to integrate these discussions in the policy making level, and how to firm up all the agreements that they have among themselves during these discussions. They have tabled the data, they have tabled the potential from their countries. So now in the next coming meeting, these issues, the blueprint will be prepared, and at the Goa meeting, the second health working group meeting, there will be more discussions on the digital innovations as such, and how technology should cross borders, and there should be one health for all as a universal theme for well-being across the G20 countries. So there will be exchange of thoughts, there will be more deliberations on these issues, and the agenda will be firmed up till the final meeting of the health ministers from all the G20 countries will be held after the third meeting.
Right, Aisha. Thank you so much for bringing us those inputs from Thiruvananthapuram. Well, Union Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar, has penned an article titled "Shot in the Arm for Global Health." She writes, acknowledged as the pharmacy for the world, India is known for global supply of various life-saving medicines and vaccines. It has shown its prowess in vaccine research and development, manufacturing and implementation when it indigenously developed COVID vaccines and achieved the monumental task of administering more than 2.2 billion vaccines. She further writes, the need of the hour is to consolidate previous discussions focused on access to medical countermeasures and setting up regional manufacturing and research networks for medical countermeasures. This will help ensure affordable and sustainable access of medical countermeasures, particularly in low and middle income countries, to be better prepared to face the risk of future pandemics. India's presidency will encourage G20 countries to deliberate upon sustainable mechanisms and effective partnerships to address gaps in availability, accessibility and affordability of quality and effective medical countermeasures. She adds, another priority area where India can also share its efforts in achieving targets under the Sustainable Development Goals is digital health. This is a great equalizer and enabler to support universal health coverage. COVID has led to increased demand for digital health and primary health care delivery, underscoring the need for better incorporation of cutting-edge digital technologies into health and care services in areas such as telemedicine, surveillance and remote clinical management. She writes, India's presidency will aim to continue and consolidate key takeaways from the Italian and Indonesian presidencies while focusing on critical facets that require strengthening. Acting as a voice of the global south while listening, building bridges, presenting their concerns to the larger world, India's presidency aspires to find relevant solutions that suit them. Let's listen in now to a few G20 delegates on their experiences in Thiruvananthapuram and their expectations from India's G20 presidency in the realm of health.
Brazil would like to congratulate the Indian presidency for the amazing job. And about integrated holistic treatment, Brazil has a universal health care system, so all people have free access to healthcare services. And we do have political policies in including Ayurvedic treatments and plant-based treatments and traditional Brazilian medicine as well. With India, we have two MOUs, Memorandums of Understanding in health and also traditional medicine. So we look forward to deepen our knowledge in that area and also hear from the other countries.
How has been this experience, watching culture, the diversity of India?
It's amazing, especially I think Kerala is very different from the other parts of India, and then the climate, the weather, the landscape is beautiful, but also the cultural events, the dancing, and it has been a very cultural, enriching experience.
Let's listen in now to some more G20 delegates on takeaways from the G20 Health Working Group meeting in Thiruvananthapuram.
G20 represents a really important opportunity for India, but for the world as a whole, to try and think how we're going to organize pandemic response going forward. I think we've all experienced some of the major challenges
medical value travel
took place over the last 3 years with COVID-19, and I think we need to find a way to move on, but also to plan better for next time.
To the India and organization and the city is very well, wonderful, especially the priority areas designed by the G20 Indian presidency is well designed, because health emergencies, health technologies, and also third area is very well designed, and all are the high priority area in the global health.
We've been attending all the session. It was a very rich experience, and we thank the government of India for the welcome and the organization, which has been perfect, and we're learning a lot. We're having a lot of collaborations, particularly in Ayush side, that the Indian government will be helping us.
Yeah, the welcome's been amazing. I think there's an ambitious agenda, so there's lots to work with it. There's a really ambitious agenda. I think, I think there's really big potential for this year to drive some change.
And we now leave you with some of the most gripping sights from cultural performances that greeted G20 delegates in Thiruvananthapuram. Take a look. Namaskar.
जल्दी करो यार, प्लीज जल्दी।
दूसरा कोई मैच है क्या?
ऐसा ही कुछ है यार, बैंक जाना है दादाजी को लेके।
हाँ यार, उम्र होने पर कभी कभी मदद तो लगती है,
पर बैंकिंग में नहीं।
वैसे भी आरबीआई कहता है सीनियर सिटीजन सबसे पहले। अगर आप 70 साल से ऊपर हैं और आप बैंक नहीं जा सकते तो बैंक आएगा आपके पास जरूरी सेवाएं लेकर, वो भी वाजिब दरों पर।
सीनियर सबसे पहले। आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
On our Republic Day, as India comes together in all its beauty, diversity and strength, to celebrate with pride, joy and reverence. Come, join us for the live telecast as the tricolour flutters in our hearts, homes and hopes on the 26th of January, only on Doordarshan.
We are taking up a grand theme of Indian foreign policy, which is the aspiration to become a leading power in the world. Leading power is a phrase coined by the Narendra Modi government since 2014 to denote India's ambitions to be an important player on the world stage, to shape the emerging world order, major rules and regulations and institutions, and also to emerge as a power center in its own right rather than just a swing state that is balancing between existing power centers.
In the short to medium term, India is going to need partners to achieve those objectives. And the confidence to say that I am willing to partner with these countries, even if it means moving away from kind of a pure strategic autonomy goal. That sometimes alignment is necessary to get to more autonomy.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Virtual Encounters. I'm